Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. So I was the other day. I meant to say this with my poem the other day too. There was one time I was like chilling on my bed and I was looking at something on my computer. Um, Lately I've been focusing. I'm not supposed to talk about my plans, but I've been focusing on I could just say gardening stuff, just looking stuff up, not buying anything, just looking stuff up, trying to plan. But anyway, um, but I looked back like at the headboard and I was like, I jumped. I kind of got afraid of but it was just my shadow. It was just my shadow. And so that is relating to the poem I did before this. But also I mentioned shadows in this poem too. So I feel like all of us, no matter how much we would like to deny it, have something deep within us that we don't like to talk about or even think about that kind of scares us, right? For me, that shadow was attraction towards the same sex. Um, Now, I like men. I love men, and I was talking to my soon-to-be ex-husband about this. For some reason, we always talk about talk to your daughters. Anyway, no, yeah, I was talking to him about it on the phone. I don't know why I still talk to him. Anyway, I mean, we're gonna co-parent, so I do want to have somewhat of a friendship, I guess. But I was explaining to him, I was like, I can finally admit. Mommy, look what Okay, so I can finally admit, yes, I had a crush on that girl in my middle school. She was this mixed girl. She had these um, curls, these scrumptious curls, very beautiful, very perfect-esque curls. Brown, like tan brown skin, but she wore like baggy because she was small. But she wore like baggy boy clothes, I would say. Yeah, they were boy clothes, like basketball shorts when they were actually basketball shorts, the longer ones, and then these like sport t-shirts. That was like her everyday thing. So she presented herself very masculine, right? She played on a boys football team apparently, because she talked about it. But there was one big feminine like thing she did. She always like with her hair, with her curls, she always like flip them. I used to have more hair than that, but that's okay. So I can't give you the full effect, but so I always thought that was confusing to me because it's like, you present yourself so masculine, but then you do this very feminine thing. Anyway, at the time I was like, what? But the truth is, I followed that girl around like a puppy. And the truth was, I had a crush on her, and I'm pretty sure I got on her nerves big time. I got on her nerves big time. There was something I would do where, like, she would sit in front of me in like Spanish class, or rather, I sat behind her in Spanish class, and like I would like graze her back with my knee or my feet or something. She'd be like, "Would you stop kicking me?" But it was me trying to flirt with her. Yeah. So that's my shadow that I never really wanted to acknowledge sincerely. And a lot of it's because of my religious background, which that's another video. But I feel like I don't know all the ins and outs about that, but I do believe that the true abomination would be pedophilia, right? That's the real abomination right there. So, yes, but like I said, I this is the truth about me. When it comes to androgyny, it does spark my interest, attention, like without me asking it to, without it just does, right? So yeah, um, that girl actually, we kind of fell out. We were not even friends, I would consider. We were more like acquaintances. We had the same gym class, and we fell out. There was one day like they were making fun of my mustache, and that was really irritating. But I wasn't taking it too serious, but serious enough to where I like kicked her knee. But I didn't mean to do it hard. But she played football, so I guess she had knee problems. It was enough for it to just dislocate her knee. Unfortunately, it dislocated her knee, and well, she was pissed, and her family was pissed apparently, and so I got suspended for 3 days for that. And then I came back, and then some time had passed, maybe like a couple weeks or so, and then we had a gym class where we had a substitute teacher in gym class. So they had basketballs out. They were throwing the basketballs all around. And so they were throwing basketballs all around, and they started throwing basketballs at this one kid I think he was in a grade younger than us. I'm not sure, but like the grade under us. But he was scrawny, and they were really, it was her and her friend. I almost said the name, but I'm not going to. I can't remember the main girl's name for some reason, but I can remember her friend's name. But anyway, I can't remember her name. But anyway, so yeah, he was scrawny, and they're more fit than he was. They were more good at sports and stuff like that. And so I was like, it was pitiful to see. So I was like, leave him alone, you know. And then they stopped throwing basketballs at him, and they started throwing basketballs at me. And I'm not good at sports. I wasn't good at sports, and that stuff they were hitting hard. Like they kept hitting my head. Like it was giving me very bad headache. Okay, so yeah. So they stopped throwing the basketballs at him, and they started throwing them at me. It was really getting like very uncomfortable. I had like a major headache because of them hitting my head over and over. And I tried to fight back, obviously, but I had no good aim. So I went into the locker room, and I was pissed. I was embarrassed. I didn't even like this kid, but it's like there's a super popular white kid, super popular black kid. I like the white one though, but the black one though, he's just so, even at a young age, this is middle school, I'm talking about 8th grade, and his energy was just so full of himself. How? I don't know. Like, anyway, it makes me think like he was exposed to older people kind of thing, because how are you going to have that much swag, I guess, as an 8th grader? Anyway, though, so he was like, he gave me a compliment that day. I was just shooting basketballs by myself because I didn't have any friends in that class after we fell out. He was like, oh, Jessiah got a shooter or something like that. Back then I grew up playing basketball, like the game 33 with my brothers and my dad. So I had fun with that. But anyway, so I kind of was like, okay, I was wearing like an old school, like a 90s jumpsuit that was passed down to me from my grandma. But anyway, yeah. And so then like what I explained before proceeded to happen. So I found myself in the locker room, pissed, embarrassed, just angry. And so I decided to take the girl's things, the main girl, and put it in a different locker than where she put it. So yes, I take your stuff and I put it in a different locker. By the time I knew it, I get a tap on my shoulder. Gym class is over. Where's my stuff? I'm laughing because of my reaction. My reaction was, first, apologize. That was my reaction. She said, you have 3 seconds to give me where my stuff is. And then she counted 1, 2, 3. Punched the shit out of me. I mean, punched the shit out of me. Only one time. And then it busted my skin. And then I heard a girl, ew, blood! Like, and then her friend, almost said the name again. I didn't say it. Her other friend just was like grabbing my hair or something. I don't know what she was doing. And it was just like, whew, that hit hard because my vision was blurred. My vision was blurred. Someone took this reminds me of something a comedian said. I feel like Stole it from me. Anyway, it's fine. Um, yeah, my vision was blurred. I could not see. I could not barely think. Yeah, I gave her stuff back for sure. I never got an apology. In fact, so I heard her talking, or the principal had said to my parents. Her response was it was revenge or something. What the fuck? Anyway, um, she punched me so hard. She punched the confusion of my sexuality right out of me. I'm just kidding. She pushed me so hard. She punched the confusion right out of me. I'm telling you. No, but yeah. So I think all of our shadows can be quite scary. Like I said, I do like men. I miss men. No, I miss the connection. I'm celibate, so it's been a long time since I've had any kind of connection. Even on conversation on the phone, I don't count my soon-to-be ex as a talking to men. No, he doesn't count. Okay, so it's fine though. Like there's a time for solitude, and that leads me to my poem. So we all have to work through our shadows and acknowledge ourselves. I feel like it does more damage to ourselves not acknowledging all the parts of us rather than just acknowledging us and learning to love us and see where, just acknowledge it. I think is a big deal, right? So my husband's asking me questions like, so if a, she's used the derogatory term dyke. So if a dyke is in your DMs, which I don't have DMs right now because I'm not on Instagram right now, it's deactivated right now. But anyway, it slides to your DM and puts on pressure. I'm like, what? Okay, there's not that much pressure. Like, I've literally walked in on my teenager aunt. She's not a teenager anymore, but that's who I refer to because I have so many aunts. A little bit older than me aunt cleaning her toys. She's, a lesbian, cleaning her toys. And I'm like, I told him that is never going to replace the real thing. You get what I'm saying? And like, not to be like rude or anything like that, but I've never done it. Obviously, I mean, I've had personal toys, right? But I've never obviously done that. But but it's just not. There's just no way it's gonna replace the real thing. And I appreciate and desire and love the real thing, you know. And so, but I think I do. It's been a long time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But yeah, so. Yeah, so that was a story. That was literally the biggest part of me that I never wanted to admit about myself. That I have somewhat, sexuality is on a spectrum. So usually, I'm not really. I've never been attracted to like a woman who's in her femininity. It's always been more masculine, highly masculine energy, feminines. Yeah. So anyway, so there's that. Um, so I made a poem. It's called "Why God Why God Made Me Do It Alone." I often ask God, why? Sorry for all the cuts. I have kids, so you have to attend to them. Um, I often ask God, why? Why did I have to overcome many things alone, without genuine human connection? I was not angry, just feeling lonely. I had confirmations that God was there and had been there all along. I guess I was being a little ungrateful, but being dissatisfied, I was thinking, by being dissatisfied, I was telling God, you are not enough. I want more. But something tells me God understands, for He created us to desire community, having a balance of solitude and unity. But just like it's repeated in Ecclesiastes, there is a time. There is a time for doing things on your own. If done right, it will lead to inner growth. Just like in Plato's allegory of a cave, the man went to explore the new world on his own accord. Then he came back to enlighten his fellow cave dwellers. We all have a choice to make. Will we gripe, grumble, and grouch about life? or will we pick up our cross and follow the Lord Jesus Christ? Going after the light after so many years of sitting, living, being in darkness, even relieving ourselves in darkness and thinking our shit doesn't stink. Yes, there comes a time we all must face the music, the fire, the consequences of our life choices. There comes a time when we have to break through illusions. Mirages don't stay forever. Eventually, the truth will be brighter than all and any illusion. So, looking back, I will be grateful, for I know God, His Son Jesus, and my spirit team were always there with me, guiding me to truth, far away from the shadows of reality, so that I can be in the full bloom of the child of God He created me to be. We all have it in us. We all are created uniquely different, with a complexity that can't successfully be imitated. Excuse me. I want to say initiated, but imitated. Jesus is my rock and my salvation, a present help in times of need. I pray all that struggle with loneliness and having to get things done. Tap in enough to allow God to show you the inner strength you didn't know you had. Because you are strong, you can endure. It happens to all of us at times, going to sleep alone, time and time again, being in a crowded room and still feeling unseen, having to keep going when all you want to do is just eat and sleep or smoke to not think. When you get to those low points in life, just think, look up. As I'm looking up, there's one of those big birds flying in the air. That's awesome. Um, Look up, because that is the only place you can go next. When you've reached your lowest point, there is nowhere else to go but up. In Psalm 121, it says, I will lift up my eyes to the hills from where my help comes. My help comes from the Lord, who made the heavens and the earth. So look up. The creator of the heavens and the earth is right there waiting. All you need to do is ask him. He is an ever-present help in times of need. You will He will guide you through the shadows and into the marvelous light. Excuse me. He will guide you through the shadows and into the marvelous light. Much love, by Jessiah Voné. Mwah. No, but I did want to speak more. Um, this song, when I say in my poem, the creator of the heavens and the earth is right there waiting. There was you talk about rejection, right? And I posted it like a cover song today. About the song Marvelous Light. It's a beautiful song I grew up with in church. And but there's another song that I was inspired by too. I'm not going to sing it. But I suffered a lot of rejection, so I'm not really afraid of it that much anymore. And one of the biggest rejections I had was from my friend. He was a friend. We hung out every day. Me and our group of friends. We hung out every day. We talked every day. We had hundreds and hundreds of messages on Facebook, mostly talking about the Bible, you know. But I never had that the relationship I had with him, I didn't have with anyone else. I can finally say to this day, I'm healed from it. But there was a time where like we were sitting and like he was like, "This is the kind of music I listen to. This is the music I listen to," and he showed me the song "Right Here Waiting" by Richard Marx. And I took that to heart, to be honest with you. And for like years, I'm telling you, he ghosted me right after graduation of high school. I found out without, like you go from like hanging out every day, right, to nothing. Then finding out he has a girlfriend, it was really a big deal for me. It was like tragic for me at the time. I can say I'm finally healed from it, but before I was healed from it, it took many years for me to heal from this rejection. It did, truth be told. Um, and like that song right here, waiting for you. um, in my heart of hearts, there was like a part left there in my heart that I always thought we would at least be friends again, because I never found a friend like him where I was able to conversate with and who caught my interest in conversation. He wasn't like I typically, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but he wasn't my type. Is what I'm saying. Physically, when I first met him, he was not my type. Okay, I like tall. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm stop. He wasn't my type. He wasn't my, wow, he wasn't my type essentially. But when I got to know him, I became, I will, the word I want to say is obsessed. Not obsessed, but tapped into our relationship, our friendship. I valued it the most at that time, senior year of high school. Yeah, so, and so part of my heart, I always kept, he always had a part of my heart, like where I was waiting, thinking maybe one day we will be friends again, you know? Even he's married and I was married and stuff like that. But the friendship part is, like I said, I was never able to find a friendship quite like that one. You understand? So, um, but I had to tap in. Like even now when I came back to Ohio, I got nostalgic about all my high school relationships. hmm And so, of course, I thought of him. I thought of what we used to have. And I thought of my other friends too. I hung out with some, it didn't work out. We're just in different worlds. And he never responded to me when I tried to get our old gang back together. And that's okay. Um, I get it. But still, the part where I'm saying what I'm trying to say is, um, thank you. Um, the part where I'm trying to say is, instead of like waiting for a guy to come in and heal that part of my heart, God has been there the whole time, waiting for me to reach out to him, for me to look up to him. And he, like I said the other day, like even my weight loss journey, all of it, healing over separation of a marriage, it's like a 10-year marriage. Healing from rejection of friends and job and family, and betrayal, all kinds of stuff, learning stuff about my marriage that I already felt and I saw, but I ignored because I wanted a perfect family and all these things. He was there to help me. I didn't have anyone else to rely on but him. He was the only one I could rely on. And I'm very grateful that he was there, right there, waiting for me to reach out to him, to ask him for help through my healing journey. And he's right there waiting for you too. Whatever it is, whatever that part in your heart where you're just like, I'm waiting, God, to get the results that I want. So I'm waiting to get what I want. I'm waiting to get the results that I desire. And it's held you back because you've been waiting for the results you want. Meanwhile, God is there waiting for you to reach out to him to give you much more better than you could ever think up on your own or hold on to. Some things you do just have to let go. And I had to learn that. I had to let go of friendships that I tried to hold on to. I had to let go of relationship and marriage even that I thought, I have children. Divorce is the devil. But I had to, it's not. What the devil is actually raising children in dysfunction and making them see the world through dysfunction and see the connection between men and women with dysfunction. Therefore, them growing up to be in a relationship full of dysfunction and their children grow up in dysfunction. You get where I'm going. You get where I'm going with this. Then their kids growing up in dysfunction and thinking it's normal. And then they doing the same thing to their children time and time again. That is how generational curses happen, or struggles, whatever. You don't want to use the word curse, fine. Generational struggle, I'll say, right? That is the devil. So getting out of that, I'm really grateful, and the Lord helped me to do it. I didn't have any support from friends, from family. Once I said, these are the rules, with my family no emotional support because I wasn't upholding my end of the deal per se when I put down boundaries because I want my children to be safe. You understand? And I'm good with that, honestly. But anyway, I mean, it's healthy and still not as disconnected as I would like, I'll say. But, you know, I'm still trying to come from a place of love, but strong boundaries, right? For the safety of myself and my kids, right? But anyway, we thank God because God is working everything out. And I'm doing everything I'm being led to do, taking care of myself, loving my children, and not giving up. Not giving up. And you can't give up either. You can't give up either. Much love by Jessiah Voné.